Our subject today is cosmological argument. Cosmological argument. We want to know if God exists or not. And we also dive into other topics in the Bible and other books. In the studio today, I am with Mr. Muzi Cindi Mahlaba. Babu Muzi Cindi, welcome to our show. Would you please greet our viewers at home?
Welcome, Dr. Pume. I'm feeling so great to be here in this place. This is a dream come true. Whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, in the cosmology, in our new cosmology, I greet you. And I say namaste to you. I honor the God who lives in you and appears as you in this present moment.
Muzi Cindi Mahlaba, can you give us a personal life narrative about your journey through life? Who are you and where do you want to go?
Yeah, my name is Muzi Cindi, and if you're asking me where I come from, I think I can write books and books and volumes of books. But maybe just to say to you, I was born evangelical and I was born a twin.
All right.
Now, because I was born a twin, my mother had twins before us and we were last borns. That's why my name is Muzi Wandile. Muzi Wandile simply means the family has enlarged. And my twin brother's name is Lindu Muzi. So we share what's name, Lindu Muzi Wandile. So twins, Lindu Muzi Wandile. So now, because we were twins, and my great-grandfather, my grandfather on my father's side, the father to my father, was born evangelical. It's another story. The father to my mother was an evangelical preacher also. And as I said, before us, my mother had twins. And when my mother, those twins were stillborn. And when my mother got pregnant again and had twins again, the evangelicals on both sides got fearful that this thing that happened if the previous twins must not happen if these ones. That's when then they took me and my brother away from my mother. And we were raised evangelical. So I went to the evangelical church at the age of 2. That's my earliest memory. So what I'm trying to say to you, I was born evangelical and I've been evangelical through and through. There is nothing that I know best like evangelical theology. And I stayed inside this theology for 45 years. So there's nothing that I know better than evangelical theology.
What's the difference of evangelical theology and Pentecostal churches?
Well, evangelical theology came before Pentecostal churches. Pentecostal churches came around 1904 with the Azusa revival.
1901.
Yeah, 1901 with the Azusa revival. But now there's a lot of synergy and a lot of synchronicity that was happening. You also remember that the ZCC church in the Sun.
When you talk about Azusa, you're talking about William Seymour?
Yes, William Seymour, yes. But now everything was happening. That's why we talk about the Kairos moment.
Yeah.
Around 1901, it was the Kairos moment. Because between 1901 and 1915, 1901 and 1920, there was the First World War. Yeah. But between those times, then we had the Zionists here in South Africa, the Apostolic here in South Africa, the ZCC Church. And in 1904, my grandfather was born in 1904. The grandfather who raised me.
Yeah. Muzi, you have not yet answered the second question. Where do you want to go?
Where I want to go, I don't have a destination. This is my destination. This is my journey. This is the present moment. For me, the present moment is my destination. The present moment is home. When I'm in the present moment, I'm at home.
The way you're dressed, you said, are you evangelical? Is that evangelical regalia?
Yeah, I can say evangelical because, again, the word evangelical maybe I must say I'm trying to reclaim the word evangelical. Because the word evangelical simply means good news. I'm a messenger of good news. So I can say I'm evangelical, but not in the traditional sense. I can say I'm the new evangelical or the emerging evangelical.
Muzi, I'm going to, with your permission, I'm going to use attacking questions. In this program, we use attacking questions and ask people about the existence of God and all that and what.
I welcome that.
Where does he come from? Do you believe in the Supreme Being?
Well, I used to believe in the Supreme Being for 45 years of my evangelical life. I believed in the Supreme Being. Then I had an experience on the 17th of August 2007 at the age of 45. That experience that happened to me on the 17th of August changed everything about cosmology, about God, about the universe, about life. Everything totally changed in my life. And I stopped believing. For the lack of a better word, I became a mystic. A mystic is someone who has stopped believing in God. A mystic is someone who has found himself to be one with God. I can go back to Jesus and other avatars and other messengers and say they were mystics. That's why Jesus will say, when you see me, you have seen Abba. And Abba is the word that Jesus used for his source, the Aramaic word, source. When you see me, you have seen the source. Now, he was saying that to religious Jewish people. The same religious Jewish people, then they said to Jesus, hey, Jesus, Yahweh, Yeshua. They called him Yeshua. Yeshua, please teach us to pray to this source that you are talking about.
It was called Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yes, Yeshua HaMashiach. Teach us to pray to this source.
Okay.
Then,
but why do you call him Jesus then? If his real name was Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeah, I don't even know whether Yeshua HaMashiach is the right word because we don't know the pronunciation. Maybe the ancient Aramaic. If I say it's Yeshua HaMashiach, well, no, you're spelling it wrong.
Yeah. Well, the question that I've asked is about the existence of God, and you said you do not believe in God anymore, right?
No, I don't believe in God.
What do you believe in?
I believe that all of us are God. The human population, everything is God.
Where did you?
And I don't have to believe in that.
Where did you get that from?
From my awakening. I awakened to who I am. And there are similarities between my awakening and the awakening of Jesus. And we can go into historicity and teachings of the scripture that Jesus disappeared at the age of 12. And for 18 years, Jesus went through what is called the silent years. Biblical scholars talk about the silent years of Jesus.
There's so many theories about that.
Nobody knows where Jesus was.
Okay.
And I don't even want to speculate.
Yeah.
But I've got my own beliefs.
So you believe about in Jesus, right?
Then Jesus came back after 18 years.
Yeah, so you're talking about Jesus, meaning that you believe in Jesus, right? Or you stop believing in Jesus. Yeah, and but if you have stopped believing in Jesus, why should you talk about Jesus?
Yeah, because if you say I believe in
Muzi, if you don't believe in Jesus, why should you talk?
Yeah, because the word believe, it means you are taking Jesus, you are taking God, you are making them external to you. So I don't believe in an external power. I believe that everything is inside of me. The kingdom of heaven is within me. So I cannot say I believe in the kingdom of heaven out there, because the kingdom of heaven is deep within me. Even Jesus says, you will not look and say, here it is, here it is. You won't be able to point it out, because the kingdom of heaven is. Whoever you are listening to me, I want you to know all that it takes is for you to just go within you. I always say to people, put your hand here. And when you put your hand in your throat, what you are feeling there is what the Chinese called qi energy. So that qi energy is what the divine is all about. So I cannot say I believe in this.
Mr. Matlaba, what about ancestors? Do they exist?
Again, when you talk about ancestors, I go back to science, because I get my instructions from scientists, contemporary science. Science tells me that ancestors as what is called in science the DNA. And they say the DNA exists inside of us. As without, so within. They say out there's 30 trillion galaxies out there in the universe, or more than 30 trillion galaxies. But the same science tells us that inside of our bodies, there's 30 trillion cells. My body right now has 30 trillion cells. My body right now, as I'm talking to you, there's more than 1,000 things that my body is doing. As you are looking at me now, your body is doing more than 1,000 things. You think you are in control, but you are not.
Muzi, a quick one. Do you pray?
Yes. Okay.
You pray to?
Again, do you pray? What is prayer? Who do you pray to? Those are the questions that I always ask. And I say, for the lack of a better word, I pray, but I don't use prayer in the traditional word. I use prayer as meditation. Meditation is to go within. When I pray is when I go deep within myself. I don't have to speak because there's no one out there to speak to. The only power, the only energy that I can speak to is the chi that I feel when I put my hand here.
Okay. Is the grave a cessation of being?
Well, the grave is not a cessation of being because the grave is a symbolism. It's a symbolism because I still go to my father's grave. I go to my mother's grave. I go to my ancestors' grave because there is that symbolism that I always want to go through and to understand. Because I always have to remember where I come from. It's part of the human experience. It's also the psychologists, they say it's psychotherapy. So going to the ancestors and talking to the ancestors and visiting ancestors, taking water, whatever, is part of psychological therapy. So there's different ways in which people do therapy. Mm-hmm. There's 8 billion people. 8 billion people, there are 8 billion ways in which people heal themselves. I can never tell anybody that don't heal yourself this way. People have to decide. You see right now, I have these things, beads. These things were put to me by different religions. Some of them got dirty, some of them I cut them. But I cannot take these things out because when these things were happening to me, there's this energy that came over me. Now I've got this tattoo of Sibongile. Sibongile is the name that I've given to African gods. I had an experience last year in the 2nd of January, and I was visited by the Madibas, the Tutus, and the gods of Africa. And the gods of Africa said, we are raising you to channel the African gods. And I decided on this name because this person here, Sibongile, is my sister, my biological sister. And she passed on 22 years ago. Mm. And she lives in me Muzi, all the time.
Talking about African gods, which gods are those? And where do they reside?
They reside inside all of us. Now here's another one, Mtungata. And this Mtungata is the one that I told that this is my link to King Shaka. Okay. So it goes back 200 years ago, or even before 200 years ago.
How many gods are in you?
Infinite. Infinite gods, yes.
Infinite gods?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I am infinite myself.
Okay, these gods are the human beings, are the people who have died, and you call them gods?
Yeah, because...
Are they human beings or spirits of human beings?
They are consciousness.
Consciousness.
Maybe to just cut things short, they are part of consciousness. Only one consciousness. That consciousness can be split into trillions and trillions and trillions of parts. It's infinite. The thing is, you see, let me tell you what the problem that I have with Christian theology. Okay. I told you I was raised evangelical. Yeah. Let me tell you my main problem with evangelical theology. I won't talk about other theologies. Evangelical theology told me that God can be defined. Then, after my awakening, I began to ask questions. How do you say God is infinite? And then you say, this thing that is infinite can be defined. Because once you define it, then you are locking it inside it. You are confining it inside the theology. You are confining it inside words. You are actually creating an idol, a mental idol. And I know sometimes when I say God is an idol, Jesus is an idol, the Bible is an idol, then people begin to say, hey, sale sobuya Yesu. Sale sobuya Yesu.
According to you, God does not exist, right?
No, because once you say God exists...
I'm asking you a question.
No, it doesn't exist.
God does not exist.
No, God does not exist.
There's no God.
It's impossible
There's
for
no
God
God.
to exist.
There's no God. Let's leave the way it exists. Is God there or not?
God is me.
You are God?
Yes. And you are God and everyone is God.
What kind of a God are you? There's God of fire. Are you a God of...
I'm a God of love. Divine love. Pure love.
But when you talk
awareness.
about love, you're taking from the Bible. Why do you talk about love? Because the Bible says God is love. And then you come and say you are love.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up with something else instead of extracting from the Bible? But everything that you're saying, it's based on the Bible.
It's based on the Bible.
I can hear you, yeah. But
where's
your Bible?
It's not a homogeneous book.
It's heterogeneous?
It's not homogeneous.
When you say homogeneous, the opposite of how homogeneous is heterogeneous.
Yeah.
Is it heterogeneous?
Because the Bible has about more than 6,000 individual experiences of the divine. More than 6,000. In the Bible, there are 6,000 people who had experiences of the
Muzi,
divine.
this is cosmological argument. And with this, we are going to argue, me and you here.
Yes.
Argue, and I'm asking questions on behalf of the viewers there. And I want you to help our viewers out there. Okay. We're talking about the supreme Umvelingang.
Yes.
Do you believe in Umvelingang?
Umvelingang is consciousness.
Consciousness?
Yes.
Is he God?
The thing is...
Are you Umvelingang? Are you?
Yes. I'm part of what is called Umvelingang. Because I'm part of this consciousness that is called Umvelingang.
Where does it come from?
Umvelingang is unborn, is infinite. It was not born, it does not die.
Is it
That's
this
why
Umvelingang which is consciousness? Is it tantamount to the God that Christians and everybody is talking about and other religions that are talking about?
Because
is it tantamount?
The problem with the Christian God, what I'm saying to
I'm not
Christians,
just talking about Christian God, I'm
okay,
talking about other religions
yes,
as well.
if you expand your consciousness. If you expand your consciousness, also Mvelingangi should not be limited to Africans. Mvelingangi is the way that is used by Africans for universal consciousness.
My question is, that Mvelingang, is it tantamount? You have not answered. Tantamount to the God of Christianity, the God of other religions.
Tantamount and more than tantamount.
Okay.
Because then you cannot limit it. Because if it says tantamount, then it means you are limiting it to these gods. So it cannot be limited to the gods. The thing is, any God that can be defined in human language is not God.
Okay.
Once you define this is what God is, then you're talking about something else. You are no longer talking about consciousness. Consciousness is beyond. Even science, scientists are still... There's a thing, if you can go on the internet and ask the question, what is the hard problem of consciousness? Scientists are battling with this hard problem of consciousness, the theory of everything. And people have come with different ways.
This consciousness, where does it come from? Where does it come from?
It's unborn.
It's unborn?
Yeah, it's unborn.
No, born, you're talking about something that it's coming from planet Earth. A born is something that comes from Earth.
Yeah.
A lot of things are born on Earth, on planet Earth. So if it's unborn, that means it comes from another planet, right?
So
it comes from another planet.
If we are talking cosmology,
yeah.
If we are saying this is a cosmological argument, I always resort to contemporary science. Contemporary science says energy is unborn and energy never dies. That's why I say to people, if you are alone and there are thoughts coming into your mind, those thoughts are energy. And energy does not die. Yeah. Energy is unborn. So what are you going to do with these negative thoughts that bring depression into your life? I say convert the energy. The same energy, negative, convert it into a positive thing.
The word Mvelingang, who coined it?
Yeah, again, Mvelingang is a human word, but it does not mean because it's a human word, it's a bad thing. Because so there's something, when you say, many times when I say something is human, people say to me, you mean it's not divine, it's not human.
In Zulu, Mvelingang is Nkulunkulu, right?
Yeah,
in Zulu.
Yeah, Nkulunkulu means God, Western God.
Okay.
So when missionaries came...
give me the difference.
The difference...
Of Nkulunkulu and Mvelingang.
Yeah, the difference is that Nkulunkulu when Christians, African Christians, when they say uNkulunkulu, they actually mean the Western God.
Okay.
And when you say to them, what about umvelinqangi? They say, no, we don't know what you are talking about. They distance themselves from velinqangi. Because when missionaries came to Africa, when they came to South Africa, and they found people venerating umvelinqangi, then they say, no, actually this mvelinqangi, this one, is the God that we are bringing. So stop talking about velinqangi. Take God. That's what we are bringing. We've been sent to bring God. So do away with mvelinqangi. Now let me tell you what happened in South America. The same missionaries came to South America. In South America, you can check it on the internet. The Great Mystery. They found South Americans venerating the Great Mystery. The Great Mystery was born out of the pagan culture, because paganism is the first religion that human beings have ever experienced with. When they walked in the field, as they were walking, they realized that this thing is animated. They said this thing is full of mystery. Nature is full of mystery. That's how the idea of the Great Mystery started. When missionaries
the idea of the Great Mystery started. Let's just pause right there. Cosmological argument. We're going to part 2 of cosmological argument with Muzi Cindi Mahlaba. This is a very interesting program where millions of people watch this program. So we're going to go to part 2.